Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and welcome to my show, High Road to Humanity. In every episode, I tell you powerful true stories filled with great wisdom that you can use in your own life as you strive for a higher road to travel. My featured guests will have their own unique stories to tell that enlighten your mind and your soul. So kick back, relax, and learn the secret to success when you take the high road.
First touch, strong connection, it lays deep in your soul.
Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and welcome to High Road to Humanity. And have I got a guest for you today? Timothy Enlow is here today, and we are going to talk about what's happening at the border. There is a crisis happening in our country, and it is at the United States-Mexico border, and it's its southern border. And we brought him on today to find out what's really going on because he's been down there and he's been checking it out. So I am so excited he's here today. Before I bring him on, let me just thank everybody who has subscribed to the channel, everybody who listens to my podcast. Thank you so much. I am an intuitive. I have a clear knowing of things. So if you want to book with me and have a session, go to nancyyearout.com and I'll be happy to answer any questions for you. Now, really quick, before I bring him on, let me tell you what I pulled up on the news today. So sit back and relax and check this out. So on Fox News, it says, more than 1,300 migrant children are being held at Coliseum where sexual abuse is alleged. It says the number of migrant children being detained at a facility in San Antonio, Texas, has nearly tripled in the last 2 weeks, as state and federal agencies have received complaints of abuse taking place there. On March 29th, 500 male children between the ages of 13 and 17 were taken to the Freeman Expo Center. As of Monday, that number had skyrocketed to 1,370, officials said, according to local station KSAT. Now, Texas Governor Abbott blames Biden as allegations emerge of sexual assault at child migrant facilities. That's what Fox News has to say. Now, I wanted to pull up, I'll try to be fair. USA Today says nothing. They're talking about, their headline is, 1 year later, meatpacking workers still face risks. ABC News, more than 172,000 migrants, most in decades, stopped at US-Mexico border. Now, this is interesting because they put a different spin on it. They say immigration authorities arrested or detained more than 172,000 migrants at the southwest border last month, according to administration officials, and we'll ask him about that. Newsmax did have a headline about what's going on down at the border, so I got to give them credit for that. So Tim's here today, and I contacted him because I saw he was down there. And let me give you a little bit of his background. He is an Army veteran. He's a former deputy sheriff police officer. He's a federal agent, air marshal, 12 years in law enforcement experience, security contractor in Iraq and Afghanistan for 7.5 years. He protected U.S. diplomats and politicians that he was assigned to. He's a firearms trainer. He actually owns the Texas Technical Training Institute, which I think is awesome. And he's currently working as head of security for a media company. And we're not going to mention the name on that one. Hey, Tim, welcome to High Road to Humanity. And thanks for coming. Hey.
Thanks for help. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. Hey, what's going on down there? You were down there for what, a couple of days, huh?
Well, we were down there for 3 days last week, and then I just got back late last night from another 3 days down there at the border. So we spent about a total of 6 days down there in the last 2 weeks, and it's absolutely heartbreaking.
What's going on? Tell the audience. I mean, people want to know what's really happening. So
yeah, I mean,
you're down there. Let me just say this. You're in McAllen, Texas, right?
We were in McAllen, Texas.
Okay.
That's where we spent all 6 days.
Okay.
The border area down there, the Rio Grande Valley, all of the cities are very, very close together. So literally, as you're driving down the street, you may pass from McAllen into Mission, Texas, and from Mission into Donna, and from Donna into Harlingen. It's all very closely connected down there. But yeah, that area is where we spent 6 days. We took a patrol boat out on the Rio Grande. We toured the Donna facility. where, not toured, we covered the Donna facility where Senator Cruz was, and where he famously, the lady didn't want him filming. And we had a very similar incident to that. The security came out a few days ago, literally as we crossed the highway just to approach the Donna facility, 6 security officers charged out at us and told us we had to stay on the other side of the highway. We completely ignored that and just filmed from in front of the facility, and they called the police, and the police took our side and told them we had a legal right to be there. It was
This is the Donna Detention Center,
the
correct?
Donna Detention Center,
Okay.
yes. So we were there. We talked to a number of Border Patrol agents and ICE agents. We talked to some DPS troopers that are part of the surge down there at the border that Governor Abbott sent down to the border. We also covered, and this is where we kind of started figuring out the pipeline. Basically, what we did is we didn't just want to stand in front of these various detention centers like most of the mainstream media and cover it. We want to know, what is the pipeline? What is the pipeline for how these migrants are getting into the US? And so basically, we started off following Border Patrol buses. We followed them from the Donna detention facility. Then we saw them being dropped off at a COVID testing site in downtown McAllen. They would take the migrants that they were about to release into the United States to a COVID testing site on the corner of US 83 and 15th Street, downtown McAllen. There, they would, the migrants would get off the bus. And this is where it gets interesting. Once the Border Patrol agents drop the migrants off there, they would sign their paperwork, and the Border Patrol washes their hands of the migrants at that point.
Where do they go?
Migrants, well, they go into the COVID testing center.
Right.
The COVID positive ones, the ones who test positive, who were just on the bus with all the COVID negative people, those are then hustled off in unmarked vans with civilian drivers and taken to a number of hotels.
Unmarked vans.
Unmarked vans, yes.
Okay.
Like
how many? I mean, like how many people? I just want to stop you a second. How many people are we talking about here?
You're talking about migrants? How many migrants?
Yeah.
Or how many? Well, I mean, the buses are coming in. The buses are coming in, and vans, buses and vans, Border Patrol vans are coming in. When we were there, about every 25 minutes.
Okay.
And they're dropping off at least 40 to 50 every 20 to 25 minutes.
And this goes on for how, like 24 hours a day?
From early morning, we covered it until at the COVID testing center, at least. It goes until 5 p.m. Okay. So from about 8 a.m. till about 5 p.m.
They go. Okay,
continue. And then we do the math every 25 minutes, 50 people or so. I mean, the numbers are staggering.
Right.
We're talking about, several thousand a day.
Per day.
And then, so the COVID positives are put into an unmarked van. We followed one of those unmarked vans to a hotel called America's True Value there in McAllen. We noticed there wasn't a single car in the parking lot. And so we saw them take the COVID positive patients in there. And we went in and talked to the hotel clerk, and she informed us that this entire hotel has been bought out by ICE for nothing but COVID positive people.
Oh my God.
And so we looked that up, and it just so happened that the day before, Fox had covered an article that said ICE was awarded $86 million to buy out all the hotel rooms in the Rio Grande Valley to house these illegal migrants. Now, again, when I say house, remember, that's what I mean, house, not detained, because they are now free in these hotels. They are no longer being watched by Border Patrol or anyone.
Do they? And you see, are they giving them money?
Yeah. So what the migrants that we talked to, several of them did have cash and did have debit cards.
They're giving them debit cards.
But they are saying that they're getting those from the Catholic charities.
Okay.
So that's what they're saying.
Okay.
Now, so basically what happens is COVID positive people go to the hotel. The COVID negatives are then picked up by a person from the Catholic charity that's right down the road. They call it the Humanitarian Respite Center, but it's under the Endeavor group is who it's run by.
Yeah, I looked them up, and we'll talk about that, the Endeavor.
Right. And then they literally walk them down the street from the COVID testing site. They walk a group of 30 of them
Okay.
down the street. And as we followed this group, they were marching this group in the front door. And as that was happening, literally, and we have this on video, the back roller door opens and a different set of illegals who have already been in the Catholic Charity for a few hours are then hustled out the back door and put into unmarked vans and then
What?
driven. And we followed that unmarked van straight to the McAllen airport where
Uh-uh.
yes, where they are then flown to a destination city of their choice in the
Of their
United
choice.
States. Of their
Anywhere in the
choice.
United States.
Well, the way it works is when Border Patrol stops them, Border
Right.
Patrol says, "Where were you trying to go?" And they said, "Well, I have a cousin in Maryland." Well,
Right.
now Maryland becomes their destination city,
Interesting.
and that's the way it works. And then we and this is going on all day. So literally, we went to the McAllen International Airport. There were
Oh my
hundreds of
God.
illegals in there being directed toward their flights. And Border Patrol has a special little station set up so
What?
that their first point of contact in the airport isn't TSA like it would be for you and me. It's a Border Patrol agent because remember, a lot of them don't have passports. They
Right.
don't have any type of government ID at all.
Mhm.
So this Border Patrol agent is in charge just to check, have you been screened by Border Patrol? Okay, you can get on the plane.
So this is absolutely ludicrous.
It is. It's government sponsored smuggling is
Wow.
what it is.
Hey, listen, I got to go to commercial break, but you guys, I will be right back with Timothy Enlow. We call him Tim. I said Timothy, but he goes by Tim, and we really appreciate you coming on today. Hey, it's Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity, and we will be right back. Hi, it's Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm here today with Tim Enlow. We're talking about what's happening down at the U.S.-Mexico southern border. You know, they're taking these people and they're bringing them in. Where are they coming from? Are they all, I mean, it's not just Mexico. Where are they
No,
coming from?
the minority right now are coming from Mexico. The majority that we're seeing that we interviewed down there were coming from Guatemala,
Okay.
Honduras, El
Okay.
Salvador, mostly Central American countries.
So they don't speak any English, yes, or do they?
Some speak very, very little English. I got to tell you, that's a heartbreaking part. We spoke to a migrant mother at the airport yesterday with her 7-month-old child. She did not speak a single word of English. We had a translator with us. She told us she left school in Honduras at 3rd grade. She couldn't even read Spanish. She couldn't read her own language, much less have any knowledge of the English language.
So they're escaping their country because it's worse there. So it's better for them to come over here and hope for the best. Is that what's happening?
Well, that is their intention.
Right, right,
I
right,
can tell you, yes, that's exactly what she said when we asked her
right,
yesterday, why did you come here?
right.
She said, because of the cartel and gang violence in El Salvador,
Mhm.
that women are being raped, people are being robbed, and she wanted a better life for her child.
Which you can't
Now,
blame her, but what's the current,
absolutely not.
right? So, but they're coming in here, the current administration is helping them into the unit, into the US. And why do you think that is?
Well, because there's pressure on the current administration because so many of them came to the border. And then once the media started documenting that the detention centers were full, they didn't want, remember, while the previous administration was in power, while Trump was in, they made a big deal about these detention centers and Trump
Mhm.
separating the kids from the families, right?
Yeah.
So now they didn't want to get caught in that same kind of media coverage. So now they made a policy shift and said, well, let's just let them in. Let's just hustle them in and we'll get them in quietly. Nobody will know. And
What do you mean nobody will know? There's people
well,
that have got to see what's going on here. I mean, I know that's why you're down there, but you know, what frustrates me is they're not reporting this.
no, they're not. And a good example is, the U.S. senators were just down there yesterday. Jim Jordan, a number of other U.S. senators were just down there yesterday.
Yeah.
And this is what Jim Jordan took away from his visit. He made a public statement and he said, our border patrol is stretched very thin, but they are working hard to keep America safe. That was the initial. Now, I want people to know I'm a former law enforcement officer. I support our rank and file Border Patrol officers unequivocally. But that statement is just outright false, because we watch Border Patrol facilitate getting these illegals into the country with no documentation. And here's what's worse. The Biden administration has hinted that they're only doing this. To allow the people to stay here. Their story is, well, look, the only change we made is Trump wouldn't allow them to stay in the country while they were waiting for their asylum hearing. We're simply allowing them to stay in the country until their asylum hearing. So I knew this. So the question that we asked every migrant we interviewed was this: can you tell us when your immigration or asylum hearing is?
Right, right.
Not one of them had a hearing date assigned to them.
Because there is no hearing.
There is no hearing.
That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know what really gets me more than anything, and you sent me some talking points before the show. You talk about the children, and I'm just gonna. You said that the children have obviously been sexually abused because they're acting out sexually in these centers, and what a sad thing to see.
Well, so we spoke to a detention officer from the Donna facility, and she was very upset, and
Oh yeah.
she said she didn't know how much longer she was going to be able to work there, because she had said that her and her colleagues have witnessed little boys molesting little girls. They are acting out sexually openly, masturbating openly, just doing there's just a lot of sexual outcry. And, they're convinced, the detention officers that we spoke with are convinced it's because of what's happening to these kids on the journey.
Right.
And we know, even from when the news broke, when Trump was trying to do DNA testing to ensure that the kids that were with these adults, that those were actually their kids.
Right.
We know from even back then that around 10 to 14% of the children are not traveling with their actual paternal family members, right?
Right.
And so think about what that sets these kids up for.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And now we're in the business. Now the government is in the business in paying to put these children into hotel rooms in America with grown-ups that are not their family members.
What do they think is going to happen? I mean, this is absolutely horrible. I mean, you're just putting them in there just like I don't even know, like they're slaves or something.
I don't know if you saw the video because it just happened yesterday or day before yesterday. We were actually at the COVID testing site, right, and decided to go down to the Catholic Charity down the street to shoot some coverage there.
No, I didn't see this.
So as we're walking, it's all on camera. I can send you the video. But
yeah, and you know what? Let me stop you. You guys, just so you know, I'm going to take these links that he has from these videos, and I'm going to put them on the verbiage on the podcast, but not on the video, so that you guys can click on it and go and look at these videos that Tim has taken. I can't do everything, but that's what I'm going to do. So there will be links so you can look at these. But go ahead.
Absolutely, and we appreciate that, because we want to get the word out. There's no monetization here. I'm not getting paid for this.
No, me either. I just care about the world, I care about the United States of America, actually.
Exactly. And so we walked down the street, and literally as we walked down the street, we saw a hatchback vehicle in front of the Catholic Charity, and they were taking and piling little boys, 3, 4, 5 years old, into the luggage compartment of this hatchback. The actual hatch area, not the seating area, the hatch area. And they were about to close the door, and we went running across the street.
Oh my gosh.
And we said, hey, you can't do this, and we said, where are the car seats? You can't put little kids in the hatch area like that. It's unsafe. If you get in an accident, these kids they're gonna get seriously hurt.
Right.
This van driver, this vehicle driver, tried to take off on us, tried to ignore us and take off on us. So we physically got in front of the car
and wouldn't let him go.
Car And it
Yeah.
became a big row in downtown Allen. Right, this is right across the street from the bus station. The police got called. Police came, and the
Good
police
for
checked.
you, Tim. I mean, good for
uh,
you though, right? But go ahead. What happened?
well, the police came, and they got the driver's identity, and then they made them take all those. And if you would have seen this woman, there was only one woman with all these kids. I think there was 5 or 6 children that they had crammed in there,
Oh my
and none of them
God.
with seatbelts, none of them with car seats, all 4 or 5 years old. She was pregnant. And I'm telling you, Nancy, if you look at the video, she looks maybe 13, 14 years old.
Oh
She
my
looks
God.
very, very young.
Oh.
Um, and they were just going to take off with them, from the Catholic Charity. And the Catholic Charity is supporting this. They're the ones who are putting the people in these vehicles. And
This is where the human trafficking comes in, right?
well, it gets worse. So it gets worse.
Oh my God. How could it get
So
worse?
as this is going on, we
Okay.
didn't find this out until we left. As we're dealing with this, and there's chaos, and the police are there, and we're trying to stop this driver from leaving. Our Spanish female translator, she's talking to the head sister of the Catholic charity there,
Okay.
and Sister Rosa. So apparently, as she's talking to her in front of the front door of the charity, a bald-headed man comes up and says, and he's English speaking, he doesn't speak Spanish, and he hears Letitia talking to her, to the sister, and he says, "Hey, is that Sister Rosa you're talking to?" And our translator ask the Sister Rosa in Spanish, he wants to know if you're Sister Rosa, should I tell him? And she goes, "Well, ask him what he wants." So our translator asked the man, "What do you want?" And he goes, "Well, my name is so-and-so, and I'm the one who sent her the video. And I showed her on the video that I'm a very wealthy person. And she promised me that I could come down here and pick out some single mothers to take back to my ranch in Philadelphia, where I can teach them the word of God my
Oh,
way,
really?
my
Oh,
way, my
oh,
way. And I
oh.
also have a restaurant where they can work at. Now, but he was only interested in single mothers,
So we have
not
the
any.
predators at the door of the Catholic.
And he sent her a video, and the head sister of this Catholic charity confirmed that yes, he did send her a video, but she claimed she didn't promise him the women. But of course, this is why we have news cameras and the police standing 10 feet away.
So she's doing
So
this
I absolutely believe she is. I
for
absolutely
cash, for
believe it.
cash,
Well, I
for
don't know.
money.
I don't know. But that man brought 2 vans all the way from Philadelphia to pick these women up in.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And so you guys sent him on his way packing, huh?
Well, the problem is we didn't find this out because we were dealing with the kids in the back of the car and the police. So our translator tells us after we had left.
Oh my
And
God.
then and so then on the drive back to the hotel, she's telling us this. I'm like, what? And I'm like,
Right.
well, did we get a license plate? What's going on? And then
Right.
one of my security guys says, "Hey, you're talking about the bald-headed guy?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, he came over to me too." And he said, "Hey, why y'all stopping that vehicle? This is a win-win situation. That's why I came down here because, we help them and they help us.
Oh
And it's
my
a win-win for
gosh.
everybody."
Oh my gosh. Hey, listen, I got to go to commercial break. Hey, you guys, this is Nancy. You're out. This is High Road to Humanity. What a sad situation. We'll be right back. Hi, it's Nancy. You're out. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm here today with my friend Tim Enlow, and Tim's telling us what's really going on down at the border. So, what does our world come to when you can't trust a nun?
Yeah. I mean, and what's going on inside these so-called charities, the people are packed in there literally like sardines. There's apparently a lot of tension. We spoke to several migrants, and there's fights going on in there. One of the migrant ladies we talked to at the airport yesterday said there's some very bad women in there. And I
Yeah.
said, "Well, do you mean the staff?" And she said, "Well, the staff is stern, but it's because of the bad women that they have to deal with, that not everybody that's coming from these other countries is good." And that's what she told us, right? Here's
Mhm.
another interesting tidbit that we got on camera.
Okay.
So we followed the same van driver like 3 times to the airport, right? And 3 times she got offended that we were filming, and she would come
It was
out
a
and
lady, you
defend it.
said?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
female driver, and
Hmm.
she would get offended, and in Spanish she would throw her hands up and then ask in Spanish, why are you filming? And
Hmm.
every time my response was the same, well, because you're smuggling human
Because you're
beings,
smuggling human people. Yes. There you
right?
go.
So, but
Human
here's the
trafficking.
interesting part.
Yeah.
She had on each arm and on her leg, and we got this on film in the McAllen airport as she's walking these people in, on each forearm and on each leg, she had the Saint of Death tattooed on her body. And
What?
so, and if you know anything about the cartels down in Mexico,
Yeah.
cartel members and drug smugglers, and I don't want to say the wrong name, but it's I think it's Santa Muerte or Santa, but it's the Saint of Death, and it's something that a lot of the drug traffickers and cartel members have tattoos of, and they keep even little statues in their cars because that's what they believe will bring them success in their illegal
The
business.
evil will bring them
Right,
success.
will bring them success. And
Mm.
she had that tattooed as she's walking these illegal immigrants into the McAllen airport on all four extremities.
And I wonder if they know what that means.
Oh, I think they do, because when she challenged me in the airport on camera, and she said, "Hey," she told our translator, "Hey, I'm tired of this guy following me around. Tell him, just ask what he wants to ask me." And so my first question was, well, why don't you tell us about those tattoos?
I love it.
And that caught her completely off guard. And she was like, what? And it's like, tattoos. And then she told the translator, what does that have to do with
Yeah.
anything?
Oh, I was gonna say,
And I
then she said
said,
she didn't speak English, right?
right. And so I told the translator, I said, tell her that in my experience, it's associated with cartels and with drug smuggling. And she got very indignant, and she said to the translator, tell him to prove it. And then she threw her hands up in the air and walked off. Right. She didn't say, no, it's not that, or here's the reason I have these tattoos. She just said, tell him to prove it.
So what are you gathering that this is a cartel thing? These people are working for the cartel. It's
I
a
think
combo. What do you think? I
I
mean,
think it's a combo. I think
okay.
that look, I think that part of these charities have people, I'm sure, that want to help and do the right thing, but the way they're going about it is absolutely setting up a lot of these migrants for the exact same exploitation that they were fleeing in their home countries.
Mhm.
Um, if I honestly believe, had we not been there, that guy from Philadelphia with the two vans probably would have been allowed in to pick out his single mothers, and he would have took them in the van. And you can't tell me that these women who speak no English, who have no legal protections because they don't have a visa or anything to legally be
Yeah,
in
they
our
have nothing.
country, they have nothing at that point. Whatever he does, they're at his mercy. And
What happened to him, by the way?
that, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. We have him on video. So I just got back late last night from the border. One of my to-do lists today is to pull up his picture and hopefully circulate it on social media and see if somebody can't tell us who he is, because I'd sure like to talk to him in person.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So let's go back to Endeavors. They're an umbrella company. It's called endeavors.org. There's a number of their Catholic charities. They kind of oversee this pipeline situation. What do we know about them? I looked them up. I saw a lot of people in charge, but I
Oh,
didn't.
there's a lot of people, right?
Did
They
you
have
see? I
they have
was like, wow,
executive
there's lots
board,
of
and they have
people.
the senior executive
I
board, and they have
know.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like too much, man.
yeah, I've never
But
seen
I
that
got to
many.
tell you something, Tim, and I'm sorry. I'm just going to say this to the audience. I'm very intuitive. I have a clear knowing, and I can look at somebody, and man, those pictures of those people, they're evil.
Yeah. And if I had to guess, Nancy,
Oh my God.
somebody told me just this morning, you better screenshot those pictures, because as this gets out, they probably won't keep their names and their pictures up on that website
Oh
very
no, but
long.
they're smiling proud. Yeah.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
now they are. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's dark in their eyes.
Well,
And you can see it.
we've only started this. Yeah, this is like literally we stumbled upon this pipeline, and we're just now starting to get the word out and starting to expose it. But we're talking about we're talking about, they are a racket that they've convinced, I guess, the US government that they're going to help homeless veterans. So they've got a multi-million-dollar contract for that. Now they've got multi-million-dollar contract to supposedly help these migrants that they're cramming little kids into the back of hatchbacks, and nobody cares.
I do.
I do too. And lucky for, well, lucky, I don't know, is a relative term, but they're apparently based, they're headquartered right out of San Antonio, Texas, which is an hour away from me. So my next trip will probably be going down there and see if I can get some answers from some of those leaders.
Yeah, I was going to ask you because I saw that. What are the people around in the area, McAllen? I mean, I saw some of your video. I saw you talk to a couple of people who were protesting, who had American flags out there, and people were saying, "Hey, we need people come down here and protest." What do you hear from the locals?
A lot of the locals are upset, and the ones we spoke to said some of them are lifelong residents, and they said they're telling us that in their lifetime of living in the Rio Grande Valley, they have never ever seen a migration on this scale into the U.S. before. They're saying it's the biggest one they've seen. We went to it's like a retirement community park, where some people had contacted us and said, "Hey, you need to come down here and see what's going on in our park." And literally every single night in this gated community, coyotes from the cartels drive into this gated community. Somehow they get the gate codes. They go into this gated community, and these seniors who live there are having 10, 15, 20 illegal migrants jump their backyard fence every night. They have surveillance camera footage on this. They're giving us the surveillance footage of this, and then walking across their property through their backyard, out the front gate, and then going to the coyotes vehicle that is picking them up on the street in front of their house every night.
How many people you think are coming in a day?
I'd say conservatively, we're probably looking at 5 to 7,000 at least a day, at least.
I mean, this can't go on. I'm just curious, all these people are coming, they're at the airport. Why is nobody else saying anything? Is everybody afraid? Because here's my deal. I'm standing up here, and you're standing up here, and I'm just asking people, let me just throw this out because it just bothers me. People have to stand up. Why are people not standing up? Are they afraid?
Well, again, as is usual in cases like this, there's several answers. There's a group of people who are profiting off this, who are literally profiting, and it's a big group. I mean, it's creating. So one of the van drivers, we interviewed one of the van drivers of those unmarked vans, right? That video is on my Facebook page right now. It's up to like 115,000 views. That van driver says that COVID crushed the economy in the Rio Grande Valley, and that what's going on right now with this huge influx of migrants is regenerating the economy in the Rio Grande Valley. As crazy as that sounds, it's creating jobs for people who are putting up the detention centers, hiring guards for the detention centers, hiring these van drivers.
This is sick. This is really sick.
It's sick on such a deep level. But that's what they're saying. So many of the people who are down there who didn't have jobs now have jobs. And so while they just look at it like, well, these people are trying to come across and make a living here, and I'm trying to make a living, so I'm just going to turn my head the other way.
Unbelievable. Hey, I got to go to commercial break. You guys, I'm here today with Tim Enlow. We're talking about what's happening down at the Mexico border, United States border. It's the southern border, and it's really a sad situation. This is High Road to Humanity, and we will be right back. Hey, it's Nancy Yearout. I'm here today with Timothy Enlow. We're talking about what's happening down on the Mexico border in the United States. Gosh, Tim, I'm so glad you came on today. We've got our last segment here. What do you want to tell people? What do you want to tell? Are some stories you want to share with people? It's all you, man.
Well, I think the thing that's closest to my heart right now is that I want people to understand one thing. I'm not anti-immigrant, first of all.
Me either, by the way.
Right,
Me
yeah.
either.
You know,
Yeah.
listen, my mom's
Yeah.
German.
Yeah. I'm a
My wife,
Scot.
yeah, my wife is Filipina.
Yeah.
You know, I've had many family members, friends, and stuff that came to this country legally.
Right.
And I'm absolutely believe in having a mix of people from all over the world
Yes.
that help us make this country great.
Right.
But what we're seeing right now, a lot of the people involved in this human smuggling want to cloak this as it's some kind of humanitarian thing, that we're somehow helping these people. But like I pointed out earlier in the show, what I want people to really consider and really think on is that what the U.S. government is really doing right now is setting up these people for the same exploitation that they just fled in their home country. And that's not okay. That's not helping our country, and that's not helping those migrants. And in fact, it's placing them in great jeopardy. And the fact that we're allowing this to happen for every migrant that is literally assisted by the by the current administration to come in and sit there and purposely allow these people in without documentation, without a hearing date, you're not convincing me that those people aren't immediately reporting back home to other people they know who want to come here and saying, hey,
It's an
just
open
like
gate.
they said.
Yeah.
You just walk up to the Border Patrol agent. They're not fleeing. All the people that we talked to, all the migrants, they were not fleeing from Border Patrol. They crossed the river and looked for the nearest Border Patrol agent and turned themselves in.
Right.
Because they were told and they would get a packet, and that packet would later help them get a visa. And sure enough, every one of them had a big yellow packet that we saw. And then they're not even given a hearing date or an asylum date, and they're facilitated and helped by our government to get on buses and get on aircraft to fly into the interior of the United States. And in the meantime, as we're driving out of McAllen, 49 miles outside of McAllen, coming back toward Austin, there's a Border Patrol checkpoint. And we get stopped. And they're like, hey, we need to see your ID. Are you an American citizen? Are you this? And I asked the Border Patrol agent, I said, sir, listen, don't take this the wrong way. I know you're trying to do your job, but you have to know that 49 miles south of here, your colleagues, I watched them literally escort and help migrants get on U.S. aircraft to fly anywhere they wanted to go in the United States. In fact, there's probably an airplane flying over this checkpoint right now full of illegals, while you're being told to stand here for 8 hours in the heat and pretend that we're trying to catch illegal migrants.
And what did the guy say?
He said, I can't talk about that. Please drive through. And that was the answer. So,
well, yeah, I mean, I think back, this is silly, but I think I had to renew my license a year ago.
Right.
Oh my gosh, they wanted everything. I mean, I wanted one of those with the star on so I could get onto an airplane. Right. I mean, man, I went and I didn't have enough. I had to go back. They wanted more. Yeah. And, you know, I grew up here, I'm born here. And it took me like 2 or 3 times going to the motor vehicle department before I got my driver's license that says that I can fly with, and that's absolutely, and it's the same thing if we want to get a passport. I mean, we have to go through quite a bit. There are people who can't get a passport.
Listen, we're getting to a point in this country in the next few weeks or maybe months where if you don't have a COVID passport,
I know. What do you think about that?
I mean, listen, we are importing. I watched it with my own eyes. We are importing COVID positive migrants, and putting them in American hotels, telling them, hey, stay there in 7 days. If you don't get sick, then we'll come pick you up and put you on an airplane and help you get to Chicago.
And we'll give you some cash too.
Right. And all the people that rode with them on the bus, just because they didn't test positive at the same moment that the person they were exposed to did, they're all released. So a good percentage of them are going to pop COVID positive in a few days. And then you're telling me I need a COVID passport to travel within the US or to go to my work or to participate in a friend of mine just went on Fort Bragg, the US military base. Mm-hmm. And if they will not allow US soldiers to use the gym at Fort Bragg, if they can't show that they've had their second COVID vaccination, they're not allowed to use the gym. US soldiers.
Tim, are you going to get the vaccine?
I am not going to get the vaccine.
Me either. Okay,
Yeah.
so you and I are definitely on the same page. Yeah, so I mean, if they tell me I can't fly, I guess I'll have to drive.
I've been trying to drive more and more lately. I got to be honest with you.
know
I
what
did
to
all the
do.
flying as an air marshal I ever cared to do, and yeah, I'm okay with driving. Yeah.
You've been everywhere. I mean, you've been in the military, you've been overseas in Iraq, you have, been security for our diplomats. I mean, have you ever seen anything like this?
No, I thought I saw some crazy stuff in Iraq and Afghanistan where we were handing out, where we literally had pallets of cash at the bottom of the U.S. Embassy that they would just go and give to these village chiefs, and stuff like that. And I thought that was kind of crazy.
That is
But
crazy.
but what I saw here on our border that our government is doing, I'll tell you like this. Um, the security guys that were with me down there on the border, many of them, like, they all had the same backgrounds as me. They've been overseas to Iraq and Afghanistan, and they said, our oath that we took, Tim, it means nothing anymore. It means nothing anymore because our government is selling out our country.
I
That's what
know.
they told me.
Why do you think they're doing it? Control?
Sure, sure. I mean, listen, when you create a permanent underclass, an underclass is always easier to rule
Yeah.
than
People who stand up, right?
that's right. And when you have, millions upon millions who don't even speak the language, who are dependent on government assistance, and who help them get into the country they've always wanted to get into, of course, there's going to be a gratitude, a debt of gratitude that they're going to carry with them. And
Mhm.
I tell people all the time, listen, the people involved in this, they're playing the long game. Too many Americans and too many politicians on the other side are playing the short game. They're only worried about the next election cycle and who gets elected
Yeah,
next.
it's all politics, isn't it?
Yeah, but the people involved in this human smuggling, they're playing the long game. They're playing the 30, 40, 50-year game. And we better wake up or we're going to lose. We're going to lose our country.
I know. What do you think people should do? Should we do what you and I are doing and do podcasts like this? Do they stand up? Do they go down there?
I
Do
think what
they?
you're doing is very, very important. I think getting the word out is important, but we need people. I'll be honest with you. We need people in the streets.
I
We need
know.
people in the streets. If you look at, listen, I was there at the Capitol January 6th, right? When
Were
that,
you really?
yeah, I was, yeah.
Oh, wow,
Um,
Tim.
and yeah, I was
What was it
protecting.
like? What was it like?
Oh, it was absolutely insanity. We were
Okay.
actually trying to stop people from going in because we knew the media personality that I was assigned to protect there. He knew. He said right away, the minute he started seeing people surge, he said, "Listen, they're going to spin this against us. This is not what we want. We this is going to go bad."
Mhm.
But so I was in DC in November of last year. In December, when we had 500,000 or more people protesting in the streets, and then I was there again January 6th. I'm telling you, we were this close. We were so close to really making a change and making an impact because those politicians in Washington
They were scared.
they had never seen the population get mobilized the way we were mobilized from November through January 6th. And that it's a shame that a few people messed that up and set back the narrative considerably, and set back the cause considerably. But that's what we need. We need people on that scale. We need 500 million people down on the southern border with, saying, hey, not on
Stop
our
it.
watch,
Right.
not on
Stop
our
it.
watch. No, this is not happening.
Right. You hear that, you guys? Stand up. And if you can go down to the border, go do it because this is absolutely. I'm in New Mexico. I'm in Albuquerque. So the Rio Grande runs right through here.
Right.
And we've had an influx of gangs and things come into New Mexico because of, what's going on. And I don't know. And it's changed things. Our world has changed. I'm so happy that you're doing this. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. I appreciate you spreading the word because
Yeah.
without that,
Yeah.
nobody hears the truth.
Yeah, and we need to hear the truth because you know what? I care about our country and I know you do too. And I care about morals and values and integrity and all those things that we seem to have gotten lost. I don't know what happened to all those things, but I grew up, we always, we were honest and decent and we did the right thing. And right now, nothing's right. Everything's backwards. And it's a shame. It's a shame to see it. It really is. I used to be, and I'm still a patriot no matter what. How about you?
No, absolutely. I mean, I still believe in America, obviously.
Me too.
I believe in our country. I believe in the potential
Yes.
that our country still has, right?
Yes.
I want that, I want that feeling back, that
Me
sense
too.
of pride. And like I said, we came, the morning of January 6th, before the Capitol, when Trump was speaking at the Ellipse, we were trying to take our personality to get him into the venue. He had a reserved seat there. And when I first got out of the SUV, it was a sea, like an ocean, a literal ocean of nothing but red, white, and blue colors of that people were wearing and the flags they were holding. And it stretched from the Ellipse all the way past the Washington Monument. The crowds were so insane as far as the size, we couldn't find the entrance. You couldn't determine where the entrance was because the crowd was packed in so dense and so tight. And it gave me chills. It gave me chills seeing the red, white, and blue colors spread over blocks and blocks and blocks. And it was the same in December when we marched up to the Supreme Court. From downtown DC, we marched 500,000 people up to the steps of the Supreme Court. And it was epic and it was beautiful because it was peaceful and people were just saying enough, and I want to see a return to that.
Yes.
And then I want to see us follow through on that,
I do too.
because I think people got scared after January 6th. They got scared of
nothing to be afraid of.
Right. And that's what I was telling people. Hey, just because a few people did the wrong thing, don't stop. Don't run for cover, because that's what they want. That's why they're saying, they're using labels like whether it's racist or whether it's insurrectionist.
Not it at all.
It's just designed to make people scared and make people stop putting pressure on them.
I agree with you. I agree with you. It's a whole scare tactic. Hey, listen, we got to get out of here today. I hope you'll come back and see me again.
Anytime. It was a pleasure, and I really had a good time speaking with you.
All right. Fantastic. Hey, you guys, this is Nancy. You're out. You guys get out there and stand up. Speak up. Okay? This is our country. This is High Road to Humanity. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.
Connect the dots and keep the motion. Can achieve your goal. Let's hit the high road.
Hey, you guys, join me next week on The High Road for more stories filled with wisdom, love, and hope for our future. Have a fabulous week, and know that by staying on the high road, you will make it to your destination. Visit my website, nancyyearout.com, where you can book a private session to learn how to tap into your own abilities. And check out my YouTube channel. It's Nancy Yearout's High Road to Humanity.
You can achieve your goal.